my name is Jade. I am a former Democrat. Unlike Kamala Harris, I'm an actual real-life Black woman. And I'm a former Democrat who is currently registered Republican. I stand here before you today because I'm tired. I'm tired of the Democrats using the generational trauma of my people to garner votes. They invoke fear. They tell me I'm oppressed. They tell me I'm less than. They tell me I'm not good enough. And they tell me that my white brothers and sisters in Christ are my enemy. No. They are not. Kamala Harris is having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and showing our bodies as these just vessels of lust. That's not cool. These women out here are being told that Donald Trump is like their enemy, when really, Kamala Harris opening up the border, look what happened to Laken Riley. She's a woman. She was a woman just like I am. No woman, black or white, wants that to happen to her. All of these people whose kids are dying, the black moms, the white moms, they all cry the same color tears. Yes, yeah. So let's move past this. Let's vote for Donald Trump so we can all be prosperous again. Let's get out of this fear, this rage, and this anger, because it comes from the devil. So hear me, black folks. Hear me, white folks. We are so much more alike than we are different. Oh, yeah. We need to forgive each other. We need to help each other. And I don't owe the Democrats anything. They owe me. They're to serve us. They're public servants. Stop putting them on a pedestal. Make them work for us.
Wow, that is a smart and articulate black woman right there, guys. And she made a lot of good points. So Donald Trump wants us to vote for him because he plans on putting this country back on the map. He wants to put in policies that would enrich the everyday American. He's laying out the plan where all of us can grow, not just those at the very top. Now, Kamala Harris, she wants us to vote for her because, and only because, she's a black woman and she's not Trump. Yep, that's not for policies, just skin color. That's the difference between the two. I'd love to talk about Kamala Harris and her campaign's plans for the future, but we're already seeing it live and in color as we speak.
Kamala said, when I become president, we're going to get those cost of living prices down. And when I get in there, you and that old sack of shit have been in there for over fucking 3.5 years. You destroyed the economy. Inflation is up about 8% year after year, right? Inflation is cumulative. But, they give you the fake numbers, and Joe Biden will come on and say, 1 million new jobs, and, the economy is strong as ever. The food is an outlier. You got people out there that are probably living in the fucking woods like Johnny Appleseed, living off their last frozen Eggo, and you're up there telling people that you're going to fix the economy if you become president. It's almost like when Joe Biden said, if I become president, I'm going to cure cancer. Why do you need to become president if you're going to cure cancer? And it's time and time again that we listen to this, but all you're going to see on TikTok and social media is her paying people and influencers to do little silly little dances.
We are not going back.
Not going back to what? Being able to afford my groceries and having leftover money every month? The price of food rose by 3.8% in 2021, 9.5% in 2022, and 5.6% in 2023. There wasn't a single non-pandemic Trump year where the price of food rose by more than 2%. You don't have to guess what a Kamala Harris administration would look like. She's already in office. She's the vice president. You're living it. The Biden-Harris administration lied to the American people when they pushed through the Inflation Reduction Act. Both the Congressional Budget Office and Penn Wharton projected that this bill would do either nothing to decrease inflation or it would nominally increase inflation. The bill was a climate change bill in disguise. There were no measures in it to reduce inflation. Rather, it spent $1 trillion on climate change proposals. For perspective, that is as much money adjusted for today's dollars as we spent on the Vietnam War. Kamala Harris wants to raise taxes on businesses, give illegal immigrants free healthcare, increase the minimum wage, forgive student loans, and doesn't believe that border jumpers are criminals. Yeah, we're not going back. We're going further into the hole.
If you want an idea as to what the Harris administration would look like, we're already living it right now. President Joe Biden kept touting that he's doing everything that he can for the middle class. But the middle class is continuously getting destroyed out there. They say that they're working for seniors and those on Social Security, but the same thing is happening to them. The only people that they're providing relief for are the illegal immigrants that are let inside of our country. Because they're talking about how inflation is cooling, but that doesn't really mean that prices are going to go down. In fact, it's very unlikely that prices will go down. Mark Hamrick, senior economic analyst at Bankrate, he said that the elevated prices have largely persisted, which means that Americans could continue to face affordability challenges on a range of both necessary and discretionary, including homes, vehicles, car insurance, food, electricity, and travel. Are any of you guys struggling with these expenses at the moment?
Nearly 40% of households face a substandard of living in retirement. And as Jill Schlesinger reports, it's forcing some out of retirement and back to work.
This is certainly not part of Larry Gessick's retirement plan. The 77-year-old electrician by trade leaves at 5:30 a.m. and heads for his part-time job unloading trailers at a local supermarket in St. Petersburg, Florida, for $14.75 an hour. His wife, Joyce, 66, prepares for her workday, making $14 an hour as a full-time legal administrator.
It's not really a retirement.
What is it?
It's working every day.
The Gessicks came out of retirement not because they wanted to, but because they had to, and are among the 11 million Americans, 1 in 5 over 65, who are still working.
And yet, we're supposed to believe that voting for Kamala Harris as President of the United States is supposed to solve everything. Even though, again, she's the current Vice President of the United States. Surveys are already showing that 61% of the vast majority of Americans are spending more on groceries and dining out compared to 2023. Now, those expenses have gone up by more than $200 per household. Almost 60% of adults report that they're spending $161.45 more every single month on utilities. And 48% have said that rent costs an average of $300 or more per month. But of course, Kamala Harris is gonna have Meg Thee Stallion twerk on stage, and we're supposed to believe that she's the answer to these issues. Now that remains to be seen because we don't know what she's planning on doing. It's probably going to get worse. She talks and talks, all these word salads, but we're not sure she can back it up. In fact, I know she can't. She is, however, playing one game that most of us are tired of: identity politics.
She's using her color. I thought that Martin Luther King said the color wasn't the issue. I thought it was the content of our character that we were supposed to be recognized for. But if she's going to keep running on that color, she's going to have a misconception about how black people really roll.
If you bring somebody into office that looks like you, but then continues to detriment your community, what was that for? But if you choose somebody who can raise your community, then you chose the right one.
Wait,
so
who do you choose?
Personally, I choose Trump.
I'm looking for who I think is more qualified to run the country. That's all I'm looking at.
Black Latinos are starting to be a little bit more critical. They're fed up of their hard-earned money going to illegal, undocumented people.
Kamala Harris did not do a good job on the border because from what I know, a lot of people were coming from the other side and doing a lot of bad things to what we call home.
I think she's not a good candidate for president because she's with Joe Biden for the past 2 years.
Well, what do you guys think? It's great to actually listen to people who use their logic, who are rational and they think for themselves, not voters who believe everything that they see on the news. Now, I did a previous video where I show you guys more of these voters who are keeping an open mind and how Kamala Harris's campaign's plan to use money to buy off influencers is backfiring big time. Anyway, make sure you guys check that video out. And as always, appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you guys on the next one.